Wow. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to my page, Open to the Universe, QHHT. My name is Jennifer Martinez, and QHHT is Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this was developed by the late Dolores Cannon. She was amazing, truly is amazing. Um, Here we are in the future, 2022, and she has left such the most amazing energy um, left over from her life, and she feels very alive. I mean, I always can tell she's here with me when I talk about her. And anyway, so today I kind of wanted to talk about I am a practitioner of QHHT, and I am going to invite my colleague, my coworker, Blair Hall. She's amazing. She's a practitioner as well, level 2 practitioner of QHHT, Soul Speak, Reiki Master. She's quite a bit, all of it. She'll be joining us here in a few minutes. Yeah, she should be on here anytime. Anyway, just real quick, I just kind of wanted to talk about my topic today is going to be Soul Speak. So her daughter, Julia Cannon, is amazing as well. And during the time of Dolores figuring out quantum healing hypnosis technique, she was developing, and it came through her daughter. And hey, hello, here she is. Hey, can you hear me? Cool. Okay. So yeah, I was just explaining Dolores's daughter, Julia Cannon, and how she came up with this amazing book to help kind of just co-create with QHHT, Soul Speak, Language of the Body. So Julia came up with this book through the higher self. I mean, they literally came through her, gave her these beautiful messages and guidance to write this book, to teach us how and why we have issues or maybe an accident in our life. What does that all mean? Where is this coming from? Because our bodies are just so amazing. We really shouldn't even have any aches and pains. And I mean, we really are meant to be just pain free, symptom free, really living our best life because we are magnificent. Our bodies are magnificent. We can heal ourselves. I mean, we can make ourselves sick. So that's why I just really love this technique too, as well. It's amazing to know that we don't need to look outside for healing. We can receive healing from our own selves. We just need to look within. But most of us don't understand that, nor do we. We're not even usually in that state of mind of thinking that we are able to heal our own self. So that's another reason why I love putting this out there, because I want everyone, whoever listens to it, to know, wow, you have the opportunity to figure out what's going on in your life and heal yourself for sure. Um, I wanted to read the first page. So this is from the higher self, and Julia wrote this book in 2013. So probably just, before 2013, but published it 2013. And this is from the higher self. As long as you're standing in your own power, nothing is too great of a load for you. So what does that mean? Really, it just means that when you live your truth, when you know yourself, it's just like I go back with my other podcasts, trusting yourself, self-esteem. I mean, self-image, where are those at in your life? I mean, do you care about, your self-esteem enough to work on it, to make sure you're not too pummeled down or you're not too egotistic? I mean, there is this beautiful balance we really can hold when we become aware of it. Um, So I just wanted to see Blair, do you want to talk too? I wasn't sure. Or, oh, oh, is it not like connecting? Holy crap. Let's see, okay, there it is. Haha, I figured it out. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I just muted you. Hang on. Oops. I think so. Can you hear me? I'm gonna shut my doors.
Hmm. Can you?
Okay, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
Yeah, I don't think I did anything.
Okay, cool. It worked. I'm just glad. I wasn't sure. Sometimes it's like testy. Awesome. So, um, I kind of like this morning, what I like to do before I do my podcast, focus on, the topic, and really like bring in the other side, the angels, the guidance team, the whoever's on the other side wanting to participate. So I'm always like, okay, guys, let's get some good messages out there into the world and help people who may not be particularly on their right path, but maybe super close, or maybe people are really stuck and lost. And so this is just going to be such good guidance for them and their own self, not looking really too much outside, but, a little bit. Um, yeah, I kind of have the book in front of me, um, and it's basically like what I love about Julia is she just really like has this different spark than Dolores. Dolores is like this, like such a sweet grandma loving feeling that you get, this motherly feeling. But then Julia has this like sassy spark. I don't know. She just really like spunky a little bit more. And so she took this book very serious because she even says it too, is like she was a serious person. She worked as an ER nurse, so super serious, super like logical, just very straight to the point. And so when doing this book, she got in her head a lot, and they would like cause her to have issues so that she could then realize, wow, our bodies are creating these symptoms or pain or discomfort. And she was actually having these pains, discomforts, and all of this throughout the book. So that way she could really understand the language of the body. What were the messages? Why was she given the messages? So it's really more or less like connecting to yourself so that you can then understand, wow, that is why my hip hurts, or that is why my back hurts, my lower back. I have all these things weighing on my shoulders, like life, got to pay for all the things. Like maybe you're that only person in your household that makes the money. So that's a lot of weight on some people's shoulders. Um, and so then you could have backache, shoulder pain, neck issues. So I mean, that is essentially how it works. So it's like, what is your body telling you? What is the pain telling you? So it could be as simple as that, like having too much on your shoulders and you having to take care of the whole household. That can be a lot for some people. Um, and then why do we make ourselves sick? It goes down to all of it. Did you want to ask me questions, or do you just want to follow or just listen? Yeah, yeah, shoulder issues. Woo. Yeah, it's what's really cool about that is like, yeah, you don't want to go back to, yeah. So she really dug in when she did this. She really really connected the other side. She really received. Oh, I can't. No. I thought you were. I thought you were just typing to me. No, I can't hear you. That's weird. Because I did hear you a minute ago, and then it just went out. I thought, oh, where'd she go? Oh, it just doesn't. It says you're connected, so. Let's see. What do? I do not know. What the heck? Why is it doing that? Let me go mute. I just wondered if I can unmute it. Unmute. Connected. This is so weird. Because other people I can get on here and it's like no problem. You hear them as clear as day. Weird. I just invite as a speaker. Let's see. Sender invite. Okay, so I just resent it out. So hopefully that works. Did it work? What the heck? What the heck?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
All right, so I just left the room and came back.
Technology. I always think it's the other side. I'm like, you guys, just let us be connected, please.
Well, it is. Yeah. So I was kind of laughing because actually I was thinking the last 24 hours was I was gonna. So I have had shoulder issues in the past. I've suffered, and then I had shoulder surgery afterwards. But it was like a torn labrum, which is like a cap on the end of one of the bones,
Uh-huh.
and they called it debridement, which is I don't know, maybe it means the bones firm from irritation or something. Basically,
Oh,
it's
sure.
sitting down. So that was in 2013 to 2015 when that happened. And of course, I've been dealing since then. And the most recent issue that I've had with my shoulder was I was having pain. I thought it might be like I didn't know what it was. It was a lot of pain. It was uncomfortable. When I'm going through regular like Western medicines and doctors, and my school eventually switched me to tape. And I'm telling you, like it starts hurting, and now it's hurting. But he was confused, and I said, I swear I'm not in pain. This is just cramps. He said, no, you're not lying. Let's go do a bunch of tests. And one of the things that gets is ultrasound. So I went. It's like already all like that. And when I looked, I was
Uh-oh.
and actually it was so. Anyway, long story short, I find out and I found this doctor. Like basically what they do, they actually use my ultrasound machine and get right on the curve. They put the needle in there, and then they shoot there another. And they have that even months they have that one step. So
Why is it doing that? I can't hear you.
you hear me now?
It was, you know what? For some reason I can hear you, but then like it'll go in and out. Like long periods too. Like it'll be like I won't hear, and then I'll hear like a needle, and then nothing, and then a long period of time, and then nothing. I was like, what?
Like a little echo.
Let's see. I was trying to see if there was something not what I wanted.
What's the name of this one?
What's that?
I was trying to remember what the name of this one was.
Oh, it's like Podbean. I can hear you right now.
Is it saying okay?
It's just kind of really low. That was what was. I was trying to like get it bumped up more. I guess I didn't realize it being like that. I guess that's the whole, like, trying to work it out. I don't know. Whatever. Go ahead. Stupid thing. Silly. Silly. I guess maybe I need that on. Bluetooth. Not connected. Weird. Yeah. I can. A lot better. Yeah, way better. So I'm going to put. Oh. I'm just going to type Dolores Cannon and Julia Cannon, and I always like to do that. Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so I had a picture got some medical treatment. This weekend, I went on to go and picked up Headons, which is crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, and there was an we're trying to get it down to it. I had to reach above the head and hold the awning still. I could try to close it. I thought it was okay. I think too much effort. The next day, my arm was the.
Oh, wow.
My stuff is. And then I think Monday was okay because I don't remember doing anything. And then Tuesday, I worked in the library and we went to bed and I actually took the chalk. Essentially, my chalk to get chalk. And I was using highlighter, and the next day, by the evening, I was hurting so bad, I was ready to make the hours. I didn't take references because I couldn't. But like it was working all the way down to my palms, my fingertips, actually like touch my body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So anyway, this up here was one by the other, but this was a interesting was a very loud experience.
Oh, wow.
So what do you need that?
It's interesting. Like, just me, well, the nervous system is the second most important part of your body, the nervous system. And when I was looking in the book, just as I'm like listening to you, I like to look at Julia's book as guidance because I'm still super brand new too. You know, it's like, yeah, I understand some messages, but we're super unique too in our own way. So sometimes those messages are meant strictly for you to understand and not me. And so just the gist of it, like a main is like the right side, of course, we know is the current life, and your arm is super important. So it grabs things, it brings you into the future, and it gets you going, and you're moving. But when I look in the book, it says it's like an overload of the nervous system. Like you have an overload inside of you. There's this worry inside of you, and maybe not, you know. But that's what it's saying in the book, and it's funny because when I read my friends and my family, it's the weirdest thing. I know that it's something that I'm gonna have to work on too. Is constantly work on it. Is I get this like block of like what it can mean for some, like, you know, a friend or a family member, and so it's funny how it does that to me. And then like someone random, I'm like, oh, I've got this. Like we're super transparent, so like this is what it means. But just for instance, like, what was I going to go back to? I wanted to read something out of a book. Because I just thought it was interesting that that happened to you. Had it ever felt that way before? That was what I was going to ask.
So, no, it even felt like it went from my back to the tip of my fingers. Now, actually, so when I first started, it was in the bicep. um, that those were similar areas in minds, but it's never been focused.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it seems like sure a different thing. I will tell you, I never had stuff going on that I got prepared.
Right. Right. So yeah, so you do have a little bit going on. It's a lot going on. You have your whole family, and then you have this whole business you're all trying to organize and everything, which is amazing. Yeah, it could be a lot, and then all of a sudden, those muscles tightened up with your nervous system, and it's like, think. Uh oh. Hmm. Interesting. I wonder why. First of all, I can't hardly hear you. It's like barely. I'm like my ears on my computer speaker because I'm like what? And I hate to say what'd you say? What'd you say? I'm like oh crap! I'm trying to listen and be yay! I can hear you just like that. Perfect.
Did you do anything?
I did not do nothing. I was like just sitting here like come on signal. I thought it was a signal. Okay. That's interesting. So, okay, so you said it's interesting that it only hurts at with doing certain things.
I'm saying like it feels easier to lift muscles, like my biceps have been ache it's easier to so meaning it still feels like easier to
Yeah.
yeah I think lifting anything is cool like it doesn't really hurt but if I try to pick up something it feels like almost like resistance
Interesting.
yeah
Wow.
enough to say that you get
I wonder if I put my. Hang on 1 second. Let me see if I put my headphone on. Would it be. Can you hear me?
yeah I can hear you
I just wondered if I put my headphones on, if I could hear you better.
try it again
No. I was like, no. I'm just struggling to hear you. It's really weird. Yeah, because it's not like I'll hear you for a minute and it'll be pretty good. And then all of a sudden it goes right to like super quiet, super like then I'll hear like 2 or 3 words and then nothing, and then 2 or 3 words and then nothing, and it's weird.
Can you hear me any better now?
Hey, I can hear you super clear now.
Okay. I put
Yay.
headphones on, so maybe that'll help.
Yay. Okay. Woohoo. Now I can hear you. Now I feel like I can be connected. I was like,
Okay. Yeah.
okay. Cool. All right. We're getting somewhere. Sorry. I don't know
No
what was
problem.
happening there. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. What I like is, okay, now I can turn mine down a smidge really. Stretch your muscles. It's your, we're obviously all connected inside. So as soon as the nervous system is on alert and you have things going on, so when we have a little bit too much going on, and you're at this like pivot point of your life is like, you got this really cool career stuff going on, and it's like you're doing this huge platform, like, okay, but ground zero, starting at ground zero, it's a lot. And then to make it flow and make it flow with these people and having people come into your group and making it all flow perfectly, like that takes a lot out of a person. It just does. Like I admire you already for like doing it, because I know me, like I would probably do so good for so long and then I'd be like, okay, I can't do it anymore, I'm breaking. Like, so it definitely takes a really cool, unique person to be able to like hold their own and like
Yeah.
be solid about it. But also like you're still a human. You're still like, hello, you're still got emotions. You still got like, it's still a lot for you, but it's like amazing. You can handle it. It's like, wow. But then, you'll still get messages from the other side of being like, maybe you have too much, or maybe if you went this way about it. When I was reading Julia's book too, it's like we're doing what we need to do, but then you need to go maybe in a direction where it could be like not so hard on you, a little bit more easier on you, of like, all right, now I got some solid people. Now they can do this part and I don't have to worry about that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know it all comes in time and flows, but that's kind of what I was in that moment. Even though it was like messing with your voice and stuff, I was like, that was what I was thinking, is like, wow,
Oh.
you have like a lot going on. You have your regular work, you got your kids, you got your family, and
Yeah.
you're trying to have a personal life with your man, and like all these things are big things. If you
Yeah.
really think about it. Most people just have one job and go home.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Yes.
right,
Yeah.
right.
True.
I'm trying to explain. It's like, yeah, you got like a whole list, and they're big things. They're not little things. So, that to me then is this pressure of making sure that what you're putting all your energy in is actually going to be successful. Like that worry, that pressure of like, you want to be successful. So it's still at the beginning. It's still really new and still at the very beginning, because most people have been doing this maybe 20 and 30 years, and they finally get to that point of comfort of like, now it just flows. Like Julia, for
Yeah.
instance. Could you only imagine when she was first writing this book? She had a heck of a time because she struggled with being very serious and not being very serious. Like they wanted her to not be so serious, and she was super serious. She's like, no, this has to be this way, and they were
Oh.
breaking her down a little bit. Like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. Like when you read her book and then her monologue, and
Hmm.
like she really struggled. She said, really, and so
Well,
and go ahead.
I I I do want exactly what you're talking about. Like I really do want it to be this business thing. I want it to be exactly what you said. Like I want it to be easy. That's the goal, is I want it to be easy for everybody. I don't want it to be a pain in the butt. I
Right,
definitely feel like on some level for some people that are part of it right now, it
right,
does feel like this very, like you said, this very serious thing.
right,
And
right.
although it's serious, I want it to be pleasurable, if that makes sense. Like the
Exactly.
work that we do is really important, and it's really validating and it's helpful to the people doing it, but also, of course, the clients. And
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Mm.
the amazing balance that we get put in. And so, like, when I was kind of briefly going through the book before I came on here, it was like, she's like, life is a maze. So sometimes you go down a dead end, and it's not really even a dead end. You just think it is. Or maybe the illusion gave you that. But it's amazing how then when we get in those weird situations of feeling like, all right, this is a little overwhelming. Is it going to work out for me? Instead of maybe feeling that uptight in that moment. And that's when then you call upon your guardians, your higher self. And that's where our work then comes in, and it becomes that like super special part of us where we can tap in, and it's like, all right, I got a higher self. I have a guidance team. I really need a little guidance. I need a little help. I need you guys to organize this flow. And it's really neat when you do tap into that part of yourself, I think.
Yeah, I was listening to something yesterday. It was a healing kind of thing. And she was talking about taking pain medicine, and she had quit taking pain. I don't know what pain she had, but it must have been enough to have narcotics. And uh, she quit taking it for a while. And it's not that the pain was gone. She was just quit taking it. And I've done that before too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she said right before she took the next time she took pain medicine, she actually talked to her higher self and said, I just don't understand. I can't understand the messages that you're sending me, so I'm going to take this to help me. And the pain medicine worked a lot better than it had
Mm-hmm.
in the past. I don't know. I had as you were talking there, it was reminding me of a dream, very strange dream I had on Tuesday night.
Uh-huh.
So two nights ago, uh, I had a dream that my daughter, who is 11 now, was
Mm-hmm.
an infant, like 4 to 6 months old. And for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, this child she was a baby, but I don't think I put her on the toilet, but somehow she got on the regular toilet,
Uh-huh.
the adult sized toilet. And
Yeah.
she was sitting there and I was just watching her. And then it's like, because I was thinking, aren't you like, that's a little young to be on the
Sure.
toilet.
Yeah.
And, and then she just like relaxed, like, babies have to learn to sit up and all that.
Sure.
And she
Yeah.
just relaxed and fell back and fell into the toilet. And I'm like watching this whole thing, and her head up to the top of her shoulders were in the water. And I was still confused, like, what,
Like what?
you knew how to sit up and now you don't? So then I just picked her up, and then I realized she wasn't. It reminded me of those images where they show where babies get put into the swimming pool, when they're really young and they just
Yeah.
automatically hold their breath. That's what
Yes.
it kind of looked like. And
Ah.
so I sat her back up, and I was thinking, well, she should start breathing. Well, she didn't really start breathing, so I was like, oh, well, we gotta knock this stuff out of her. So I started patting her on the back, and then I either went out of that dream or something. But
Interesting.
that was kind of weird, and I didn't even think about it until at the library. So this is right after I did the chalk stuff.
Yeah.
There was a woman there who had three children, all three of very small stature, just tiny people, and she had
Right.
a baby on her front with a sling, and I
Yeah.
just saw that baby and just instantly remembered that.
Dream.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Whoa.
don't really know what that means.
Yeah. So dreams are. Every time I would ask about dreams in sessions, because people would, like, the last few people that I had wanted to know about their dreams. And
Hmm.
generally, the higher self came in saying that um, depending on the dream, if it's scary or if it throws you off, it's generally your fears coming out. But they're all like
Hmm.
meant like a message for you. But what I'm noticing now is that we're tapping into this parallel life.
Hmm.
Not saying that that was a parallel life, but we're seeing other lives
Hmm.
in our dreams. So even that could have been a message of I don't know what that really could have been. That's a tough one because it really water, I think of water, and then you were on the boat. I think
Yeah.
of life and think of, I've had, like, I can't mentally go on boats because, I've had the past life of drowning. So
Mm-hmm.
me now, I'm terrified of water. Like, I'll go swimming
Uh,
to my waist and that's it.
uh-huh.
That's as far as
Okay.
I go water. I like when we were flooding on the north side of the park, I started
Uh-huh.
a little bit have a panic attack. I was worried
Yeah.
about people where the water went all the way up to their ceiling. I thought, oh gosh, they can't. I was like instantly having the fear of possibly like someone drowning or me drowning. It's weird how that can be in our
Yeah.
DNA or in our cellular structure memory. It it's crazy. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a tough one to know exactly. What I also was gonna say too is like they said it's like how you don't really mean when you say something and you go, oh man, I put my foot in my mouth like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really
Mm-hmm.
put your foot in your mouth. So it's the same kind of analogy. It's like you
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, it's so it really goes off because I mean I have the weirdest little dreams too. Like I told you the other day, mine was weird. And after I told you it, I forgot all about it. But before then, I held on to it for like weeks. Isn't
Oh
that?
yeah.
I was like, what was that all about? So,
Yeah, it's funny you say that about the fear too, because last night, just before I woke up today, I
mhm,
had a dream that I was with people or, it's like, basically with people. I wasn't alone on my own or even
mhm,
with my family, I was with other people.
yeah,
And somehow I had to eat and they gave me this stuff and I don't remember exactly the conversation when I was eating it, but I got the impression that it was okay. And I
yeah,
ate like, I don't know, like three-quarters of a cup or a cup of noodles. And
yeah.
then it was after that I thought, "Oh my god, did that have wheat in it? Were those wheat noodles?" And then I was, like, running around panicking, thinking, "Oh my god, my guts are gonna be, like, killing me."
You sound like me with dairy. I'm like that with dairy. I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
It's not the first time I've had a dream about that, but that was
It's
the most distinct
amazing.
and actually, I think what happened was I mean, I don't know if this influenced it, but yesterday, I got a poke bowl. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's basically
No.
sushi in a bowl, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
they didn't it's like they'll put rice and, lettuce and other things with
Oh,
it, but
okay.
so it's like a salad, a sushi salad kinda thing.
Yeah, that sounds really
They
good.
put some extra sauces on it but
Yeah.
of course me, I'm like, "Oh, it's probably got soy sauce," and the
Mm,
one of those sauces I like does have soy sauce, so I know it's gonna have a little bit of wheat. Well, I
yeah.
didn't say anything about that, and she didn't even put all the sauces on there that she should have, so I was thinking,
Good.
like, basically, I didn't do the best yesterday is what I'm saying. It wasn't a lot, it didn't seem to cause me any problem, but,
Right.
um,
And
still,
I
it is
always
the paranoia.
Yeah, it is too. And also, we have to remember not to be so hard on ourselves because,
Yes.
like, I just said that in my last couple of podcasts in the back, like a little while ago, because, we are creatures of habits. We can stay in a habit, but also when we're starting out something new, sometimes we get cut off like that. We get cut off. It just happens. We have life and things happen, and maybe we didn't plan that day. And maybe we were already, when we woke up, we were already off and that is the universal rhythm of ourselves. And we have the natural rhythm where we're not always going to be like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm on it. I have my water. I know what I'm going to eat. Sometimes it just happens where we're like, okay, I'm here, and that's all you're going to get from me. So it's
Yeah.
like, so you're going to be like, okay, I'm just going to eat that. That seems perfect, and yeah, and so that's interesting that we can create, just what can be created in our minds, how powerful our minds are, and that's why we come full circle back to soul speak, and it goes right back to your mind and how the higher self or your guardian angels or guardian team guidance team sends us messages through our body that we don't really are not really even aware of. That's what I think is, you know amazing. Once we become aware, Oh, wow, I got this headache. Oh, wow, I have back pain. She just said back pain's this. And it's not like it's exactly that meaning. And
Yeah.
that's why I love Julia, because she's, when she wrote this book, she's like, these are just the basis, but we're all unique and we're obviously going to have a little different scenarios for each of us. Um, I just think our bodies are amazing and they're miraculous messengers. You know, it's like once you really understand that you're receiving messages and that you really do have a purpose here right now on the planet. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, this is my purpose, and I was way off. I was over here trying to do, and this is so funny. So you did that session on me, and I asked, oh, do I want to do accounting and stuff? I thought at first it was like gonna all work out, and it was like another $10,000 that I would have to
Mm-hmm.
do. Yeah, so it's like, okay, maybe I won't do that. It's a little bit much right now. Plus, we don't really have that kind of like income to just be,
Yeah.
here you go. So I was like, okay, angels, I love you, or guidance team, or whoever's like slowing me down. And then this, all of a sudden, you know, it's all started to come back, was like, okay, full throttle. And Dave's like, pick out a recorder. He's like, you need some kind of like recorder to record your sessions, you know? Like, I don't have a video recorder or anything like that. I was using
Oh.
my phone,
Uh-huh.
but I think I need like something separate, you know, just like I think we talked about that. So that way I have something
Yeah.
separate and I can put it on a tripod, set it up, do the session so that you have video slash audible.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and which makes sense. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to see yourself while you're under as well as.
It would. Yeah, I think it would help a
Uh-huh.
lot of people understand that they are. I think it would help them to see the outside and the inside because when you're under
Yeah,
and the inside is, you're getting all that information, whether most of the time it's not in words, you have to translate that.
right,
But sometimes, like even that last session that I had where the words didn't come out when they were in the SC, but
right,
if the person was sitting there watching themselves, they would see that stuff was going on because
right.
I mean, she wasn't all out having a seizure, but she was definitely having these, and she remembered that she was having those movements, like strange, jolty kind of movements. But it
Hmm.
was like at specific times, and it was in specific ways, and uh,
It's
also like there were several times where I could see her lips were starting to move, but it's almost like the air wasn't going through the vocal cords. And I can remember the first couple of times that I was under, it was an effort. I almost had to like pull myself out of the deeper state to get myself to be able to push the air through and pronounce the words. So it's not
yeah,
like I wasn't hearing the person or answering the questions. I just wasn't answering them outward.
right, right. And so it'd be really neat to record it, show you it, and let you
Yeah.
understand how much your body or the ego side can reject. You know, it's all about your belief system. So sometimes it can reject, you know, the SC from coming in, the higher self, or
Oh
the
yeah.
whoever
I've
wants
seen
to
that
come
before.
in. And that's kind of why I feel like your body flips and jerks, and because you're trying to relax and let it go, as far as, okay, I want to see what's going to happen. I want to see what's going to come out of me. What's my experience? Yeah. So I feel like there's
Yeah.
that little battle that your mind does with the other side, and that ego mind part, you know, it's like a
Yeah,
little
and
battle.
I I find words kind of funny the way people. I mean, even us, even in the script that we use, like the words sometimes they seem off. So
Uh-huh.
I've had a client who he wasn't against any of this stuff, but he had a Christian background.
Mm-hmm.
Past lives weren't dominant. I don't. He wasn't opposed to them, but
Right.
I wouldn't say that he was really comfortable with them, but anyways, so he's going to the happy place and all of that. And it's funny the way he was describing it. It was it was my my imagination, you
Yeah.
know. So you're using words to clarify what it is.
Right. It's,
instead of just talking about what you see, which is, I
right.
guess it is a kind of a strange experience.
It really is. Like, that's another thing that I love about quantum healing hypnosis technique is because wow, you see so much. Sometimes we just can't break it down into words. Because I think when you first go under and you've never had this experience and you first go under, you're like, whoa, what am I seeing? Wow, I'm seeing a lot, or I don't know what I'm seeing, and I don't know how to break it down into a word that can explain what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for me it was the first time I did this, it was very strange to be on I was on a couch. It was very strange to be on a couch and aware of the questions and yet seeing these
yeah,
things. That
exactly.
that that at the same time was really weird. And it's funny that, we talk about the energy moving and, how we can see on the outside visual evidence of that. But I
Right.
would say even going under, if you're aware of the energy, you can also feel it because the first time I had a session, as it was driving an hour, and
Yeah.
as I was driving, I started to notice, oh, I've got the beginning of a cold. That stinks. Oh, well, it'll be okay. It's like one of those things where you think, yeah, I got a cold. It doesn't feel like it's really bad, but I can kind of feel like I don't feel great. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's postnasal drip. Like I can feel back there. I call it 6 knots. It's terrible, but I do. I call it 6 knot. Like, oh, I can feel it. So
Right.
that had just started within
Mm-hmm.
an hour of me going there. And I go get on which I'm sure it's so I can tell the story. I
Yeah.
go get on the couch and I do the session. And it wasn't until I did the hypnosis part. Um, if you lay back, sometimes it'll jerk in the back of your throat. That makes sense. Sure, some of that had happened, but this was not the same. This was
Oh,
like, it's almost like it was getting stirred up. That's genuinely what it felt like.
yeah.
It also reminded me of, I've had that same situation right before I get a physical massage. I'm a
Mm.
massage therapist and I did it in school. And they say, no, if you're getting a cold, do not get a massage. And the reason being is you massage and you move everything around,
Okay.
including whatever's in your lymph system. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, what that does is it helps to perpetuate and move the cold around.
Oh,
Well, when I got the massage like that, I felt totally fine. It was a head cold. All the rest of my body, they got up to my neck, and I could
yeah.
actually feel it getting worse. And
Oh,
then the cold that I had after that was, probably 5 times worse than it would have been if I had not done that. That's what it felt like on the couch while I was under hypnosis. It was like that area that had the yuck was stirred up and made worse.
right.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then nothing came out like during the session about that, or just
Honestly, I didn't even say anything about it because I was just thinking, well, I've got a cold, and it was kind of weird that well, the whole thing was weird because it was a new experience, but it was like, it was very strange that I was seeing things and getting information and then having to translate. And I'll say that I felt probably, not most of the time, but, and I'm sure this is me, not the practitioner. But I
yeah,
have felt in the past a couple of times that the practitioner is kind of leading me to come to conclusions.
yeah,
Whereas now I think I'm better at saying, nope, that's not correct. Even if somebody says something, I'm just like, yeah, no, that's not the way it is. Or
right,
they ask a question and I say, no, it's just this thing. Like I think there was a time that I was a bird and I was
right.
eating fish, and I think it was you who were asking me questions about eating this fish, and I was like, no, I'm just happy eating the fish. That's just it's just great.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't
right.
feel like you were leading me to anything.
Right. Oh, it's neat how the first session we just feel so like we can't almost control what's coming out. But then as you have more and more sessions, you start to shift this part of you. Like, then you realize, oh, wait a minute. I can kind of control what.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, I feel that as I go through these sessions and have them done on myself, or if I give one, I feel that shift of like, wow, I'm more aware, I'm more in tuned, I'm more connected.
Yeah.
I really like it. I think that's what brings me back every time to quantum healing, hypnosis technique, as well as soul speak. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
I become more connected, more aware. Um, yeah, also in the soul speak book, I thought was interesting is nothing, and this is from the higher self, a quote, nothing is beyond limitation. Anything is possible. It is merely a matter of how much you are willing to believe. So that is the biggest because we all kind of grow up with our own belief system of as our surrounding, of our family, what we grew up in. Some people are super strict Catholics and super strict Mormons and you think about that, or there's just no religion at all, and you don't know what you believe. So it's really neat. It doesn't even matter any of those belief systems. I feel like anyone who chooses to get a session with quantum healing hypnosis technique or soul speak, like you're going to receive something, some kind of answer. It's like your higher self finally saying, finally, you've reached this age and we made this agreement. By the time you hit 40, you wanted to be connected. So here you are. So I think it's really neat with the whole thing is that we're even in a human body, that we come down here and we forget that. I think I even said in my last session was like we came back to this particular timeline to fix the glitch. I was just like, what? When I hear that, it's amazing to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think and most people can't even understand it. I think, and I feel like your vibration has to be. You have to raise your vibration to the point where you're comfortable hearing those things and not like freaked out. Some people are like, no, that's not
Yeah,
possible.
I think oftentimes, well, I think the clients that I wind up seeing, even this last one that I had, they they have raised their vibration because, well, they probably are kind of like were there, but they're
Yeah,
surrounded by people whose vibration is not the same, and so they feel very different, or they feel like nobody's going to understand them. But when they find quantum healing hypnosis and
yeah,
the way that we talk about different things and the openness with which we talk about it,
right,
it's refreshing for them. I mean, I
right,
can't tell you how many of them I've had them say, uh, I don't say this kind of stuff to most people. And then, of course, they'll say it, right? And it's
right,
because they feel safe and they feel like they're not going to be judged, and there might be more, um, on some level, analysis of whatever it is that they're saying. What does it mean, or what's the purpose of the message? Because they kind of
right,
have already gotten to that point where they're getting messages, but they don't know what to do with them,
right,
and sometimes, uh, when they are surrounded by people who are not at all on that plane, they it's frustrating because somehow they know
right,
that there's more truth out there than what they're being told, and they just know that that person is not, whoever it is that's influencing them is not. So sometimes I don't have the opportunity to talk about
right.
the things that seem so strange to everybody else. The nonlinear thought, the belief that there is something better in the world, that kind of thing.
Right. You start second guessing yourself. You start thinking, okay, then never mind. I mean, when you're surrounded by that, it's tough. That is for sure. Yeah. And then I fall back on sometimes when people do that, and then all of a sudden, then something will happen, like an accident. And I like to bring that up because I feel like that's the most fascinating to me. Because how could we get in these horrible accidents and them actually meaning they're a message from the higher self? And so,
Mm-hmm.
what was interesting is when Jasmine, my daughter, lived in Florida, in a part of Florida that just was really low energy, really low energy. I mean, like, it was pretty much the ghetto part. Not
Mm-hmm.
to mean or anything for people who have to live in that environment, but that's fine if you have to. But I was just saying that there were a lot of accidents. She kept telling me, oh my gosh, Mom, there were 4 accidents today. This guy got T-boned. This guy got hit from behind. This guy got hit from, so when those things happen, I was like, oh my. I was like, those people are super asleep and their angels are like, wake up and we are going to force you almost to wake up. And we're going to, so like when you have a head on, I just thought it was fascinating. To me, it's just fascinating because I'm like, what? So a head on is to stop you on the path you're on. So sometimes people are on the wrong path and they think they're on the right one. Like maybe it's selfishness and you just want to do drugs and drink and you just don't want to care, right? So that might not be the path you were meant to stay on, maybe to experience for a little part of your life, but not the whole part of your life. And so then they'll have you do a head on. They'll cause a head on. And that's just to stop you in your tracks so that then your life will change. And you hear about those kind of people. It's like, oh, I got in this horrible accident, but then this turned around and I met this amazing guy and I met him at the hospital and he was so amazing. And then before I knew it, I fell in love. And before I knew it, so sometimes those are always such bad scenarios, even if in that moment it feels uneasy, bad. Why did this happen to me? Those kind of things. I thought that part was really intriguing to me because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Because when I see that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. So the other day, I think it was the day that you left, actually, all those ambulance and all that.
Oh, yeah. I saw that vehicle.
Kid. I knew the kid. Yeah, he flipped his car like several times. He had a puppy in there. And the dog actually almost died waiting for the ambulance. So those kind of things go through my head. I'm like, So Jasmine went to the taco bus and got tacos, right? I know it's surreal, but she actually hung out with him while she was there. They were getting food. He was getting food. She was playing with the puppy, and he was like, hey, I got to go to Bozeman. I'll see you later. I'll see you like in a couple days or whatever. No big deal. Yeah. Jasmine's friend. She was like, okay, cool. See you. And she was just like playing with the dog. And then he left. And literally right after he got in a car accident, she goes, Mom, when I saw him, I felt off. Like I felt like he was off. Even though like I didn't judge him, I thought maybe he was tired and whatnot. But she's like, that's how I felt, is that he was off. And so it's amazing how the angels come through and how they could be. I'm not sure if he was in a different state of mind or whatever, because I didn't talk to him. I didn't interact with him before the accident, but just me connecting to that and connecting to why he would have that kind of accident is like maybe he was off enough to say, hey, you're not, so let's see, on the right path is what I was going to say. And when you're in those accidents, depending on where you get hit or broadside or, I
didn't see any other vehicle. It seemed like
no, he rolled it. Okay. He just overcorrected. It was just him. He overcorrected and flipped his car, I think, a couple times at least, which then made me think, okay, wow, they really wanted to stop him on his tracks. Like, whoa.
Turn his world upside down,
Right. And what was that supposed to be for him? So now here he is, dog's almost gone. Like, it almost died waiting for the ambulance. And it was his little baby. Like, he loved that puppy. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, what did you have going on in your life? I would have been really curious to hear what
I assume he's okay?
Yep, nope, they're okay. They survived. EMT, all of them made it to him fast. I mean, they kicked it in the tail. They got it. I was so happy about that part. I was like, yep, we have the best emergency system here. I mean, they are on it. They don't mess around. So that made me feel really good. And even though it was a little intense, and it doesn't really happen often here. We don't have like sirens and stuff often. So then when we do, we're all like alert. We're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there was a message to him. So hopefully he received that going through his accident, even though they're horrible and sometimes people are lost in accidents. But that's,
Is he in the hospital?
yeah, he did have to go to the hospital a couple of days for sure.
Okay, but
Um,
he's done. He's back
yep,
out.
yep,
Oh, okay.
yep. And then luckily he has tons of friends. He just moved here actually. I don't know where he's from.
Oh,
Server at one of the restaurants in town, and so just Jazz knew him as far as same age as her. And
school. Yeah.
I don't think he's from here. Mm-mm,
Mm.
no. So it's interesting. It's
You know,
interesting
it's.
who comes here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting
Yeah.
who, how they make it here, how they think that this is. I don't know. It's kind of expensive to live here, so I don't know how most people survive when they come here by
Mm.
themselves. Yeah.
Well, he's with his family though, right?
I don't think so. Nope, he just has a lot of good friends. He's very social, very like
Oh.
outgoing and very like, hey. Yeah. Yeah, he works at a couple restaurants as a server, so he's just super outgoing.
Oh, okay.
He served us like a week, 2 weeks ago. I mean, we went out to Wild West and he, yeah, served us. He has this wild fro and hair, but he's a white guy. It's hilarious. Some people just have really awesome hair. Like, you guys are
Yeah.
lucky. But yeah, so that was, I mean, yeah, that was kind of a crazy thing. But that, anyway, that meant something. It means something. He needed to wake up. He needed to revitalize what is going on in his life. And that it wasn't just an accident is all I was really saying. It's like it's more
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's how you receive that message, and sometimes people don't, and so then things continue to happen to those people. But it goes off your belief system. What do
Yeah.
you believe in? And do you believe your body is amazing? Do you believe you have a higher self? Do you believe you have a guidance team?
Oh, well, I really loved the video you showed me of Bashar. Matter of fact, I've already shared that with a couple of people, but like
Sure.
the Bashar video where he's talking about you got your physical mind and then the filter is the subconscious, which is
I love it.
in a way
Uh
that helps you live out your theme.
Yes. Yes.
And then the highest subconscious, or no, what do you say? So that's the subconscious. Then the unconscious
Unconscious.
is the higher self. It
Yeah.
is source. It is oneness. But
Right.
it's that subconscious that's filtering things. So that's why QHHT, when we get to that part and we make it, basically we cause it to speak a language that we understand,
Right.
then it's just, it really helps with things. Like
Right.
as you were talking about all that stuff, I was kind of thinking, and I was thinking the other day about my arm. Like
Yeah.
I was just noticing when it hurt and so forth. And what it's really doing is it's affecting my grip. Like I
Ooh.
I can't open jars very easily. I'm having to make big or any kind of top.
Wow.
That's the part that feels the weirdest because it's like this deep pain in there. So I'm like wondering, am I trying to grip onto something
Right.
in a way that is not what needs to be, and because I have to shift to the other arm. I have to shift to doing it completely different no matter what. But to
Right.
do it with the other hand is better. So
Right. Isn't that amazing? Like, as you talk through it, as you pay, that's what I mean. It's like becoming aware of it. It's like, okay, what are you telling me? Oh, all right. Okay. So I love that because that's, as I was going, you know how you were saying with the pain pill and like that girl would take it and say almost like a little prayer. It's not like a prayer, but like, hey, this is going to work for me. So that's your mind. That's you
yeah,
negotiating. That little negotiation, it's like, okay, I know there's pain there. And placebo effect, almost. You could have almost taken something that was a sugar pill and
right.
pretend like it was that narcotic and was like, hey, this is going to work. It's amazing off of our belief system, our mind, what we tell it. And that's self-talk, that's affirmation. So we can, create good intentions for ourselves all day long and start out with our day being, it's not easy. That's for sure. That's why I always tell people to not put a whole bunch on their plate at first. If you are intrigued by this, it's like just do one good thing for yourself for the day. And when you do that and you keep adding to it as it's easier and easier, and then you can have your affirmations, do your yoga, do your meditation. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
add all these things to your life immediately. I know we get like super ambitious and we're like, I love it all or whatever. But I feel like some of us put too much on our plates and then it comes crashing because we still have lives, we still have to work, we still have families, we still have all these extra stuff you have to do. And then we fall out, like as far as we're not able to practice those things anymore, affirmations, and then we get tired, and then the bad talk comes in. You're lazy, you're this, you're that, and you start the bad talk versus like, you're amazing, you've got this, just keep going and take it easy on yourself. And it's amazing that it has a lot to do with our words. But and our mind, our words, and like how we think, and what we say to ourselves. It comes down to all that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it actually makes a huge difference. What I find too is what's really interesting, I think, is when people are talking and telling their story,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll use phrases that they don't recognize what the meaning of them is. Like if you were to take, like if they repeat a phrase kind of, more than once, where for some reason you take notice of it, if you pull that out of the context
Yeah.
and you just look at that phrase and see what the meaning is, I find sometimes there's answers in that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's intriguing. Amazing. Hi, Cheese. You keep coming in. I have a person who keeps like popping in every second, and their like little screen names Cheese.
No. Well, that's cheesy.
It's great. It's like they come in for a couple seconds and there they are again. Hi, Cheese.
They must have
Type your
internet
name.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah. There you are.
Where's cheese from?
Where are you
Bavarian.
from, Cheese? And you can just type it in. That'd be great.
Welcome.
UK. Awesome. I love it. United Kingdom. That's incredible. All the way on the other side, basically, of the world. That's one thing I love about the Podbean is you can get anyone in the US or anyone around the world in the moment that you're doing it. It's really neat. I love people. I am in Montana. We're in Montana, the US. All the way. So yeah, Yellowstone National Park, that area, if you even know where that is. I like to use that as like kind of, it is pretty cool. Just that it helps people know where you're at because most people love Yellowstone National Park. They all know it's the, first.
Definitely internationally known. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so welcome. Thanks for coming to the page and listening to us. So we are talking about the universe and the higher self and just what comes through the body. So sometimes we have aches and pains, and we're both practitioners. Blair and I were practitioners for quantum healing hypnosis technique as well as soul speak, and it's amazing because we all have angels and we all have a higher self and a guidance team. So we have more than just angels. Sometimes we have maybe just one angel or several. Or what I've noticed too by doing sessions is sometimes it's your ancestors. Like I did this one girl and she was young. She was like 26. She wanted to have a baby. She wanted to have all these things and she didn't have any of them. And her guardian angel was actually her aunt. And I thought that was really neat. And then like her guidance team was like her grandma and like another. So it was like all these different, it wasn't just like an angel, they all like were someone to her. So I thought that was really neat. And she had a name for like each of them. One was Sarah, one was Emily. And I just thought that, I mean, yeah, those are like Sarah's my niece, Emily is my daughter. So I thought it was really cool because she didn't know Sarah was my niece. She knew Emily was my daughter, but she was naming these names. You know, she just know what you're going to say to. It just comes out. So I thought that was really cool that matched for me. And I was like, oh, wow, universe. That's cool.
Well, that's a perfect example of co-creating.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was intriguing because the first time we did her session, we kind of rushed into it and it didn't work. And I was like, you know what? I want you to meditate tonight. I want you to relax and don't put so much pressure on yourself. And we'll do it first thing in the morning because they stayed at the house next door when we had it and all that. And yeah, she woke up fresh and everything, and then we were able to actually do the session because she put too much pressure on herself, you know, of like, what am I going to see? And she's super young, you know, so she had this like, oh, what am I going to basically see? And she was my one girl who is a, what do you call them? Oh, when someone passes away and they have to come and say that they're actually gone.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, and they work for the police. They're
I don't forget.
Yeah, like if someone takes their life, it was kind of like a mortician, but it's above them. So if someone takes their life, they have to call in them, and then the police call them in and say, okay, and then why can't I think of the name of it? That's so weird. And then she's like, yep, he died of this. Yep, he's legally dead. Like that's what. I know there's a name.
Coroner.
Yes, coroner. Holy moly. Like I knew that. It was like at the tip of my tongue, but I was like, is it? But anyway, yeah, she had a lot of life and death. You know what I mean? Like her life, she couldn't have a baby because she had the pressure of thinking that her baby would die. Yeah, because she like lived like her whole 20s, all she did was mortician and then coroner. So she got the best, like mostly.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, and she would see, she would have to go see them and they would die horrifically, you know, car accident, take their life, whatever it is. She would have to see the aftermath. So what I thought was really special was, when I first met her, I instantly said, they're all here to say thank you. And she was like, what? You know, she was like, she just looked at me cross. But that was my first message to her. And she was like, let me tell you what I do. And I was like, what? Because I didn't know what she did. I didn't know her. I first met her. I just first met her. I was like, oh, you're so cute. She was just a cute young girl, you know. And her husband is our friends. So we never really met them, and this was kind of like a whole, like, you get to meet my wife, and da-da-da, you know. They just got married. They're all super young, so they just got married. And literally, that was when I first started really understanding I was receiving messages. So I thought that was...
I see. Cool.
Yeah, because I didn't...
pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then when I realized, and then when she told me what she did, I was like, oh, I got chills. And then we all got so excited, and all we could talk about was like the other side and this side and how she, yeah. So I thought that was, wow, how we're connected and how they're just right there. People that leave their body, you know, they're in another dimension, they're in another realm, but they're still there if you need them, you know, like they're in your heart, they're connected to you still no matter what. Even though what I thought was intriguing too is when we did my session and how you had me, after I went through that past life, and like I could be like a sister, like sad for me. And then after a few minutes, I felt like I didn't even know who I was staring at, nor did I even recognize, because I was still in this guy body. Like when I would stand there, I was still in like the dude's body. Like I was like, why am I this guy? Like literally, I go, in my mind, I did at least. I may not have said it out loud, but like in my mind, I was like, why am I staring at this lady in the bed? And I know she's going to die, but why am I staring at her? Like I couldn't recognize who she was anymore. I couldn't even recognize the the guy I was anymore. So I thought that was, I didn't really even say that part to you. Really, I don't know if I did.
I don't
But
think so.
yeah, no, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. Like, I was like, why? I felt so disconnected. That's all I can even think of. It's like, why am I staring at these people? Why am I here? Yeah, I thought that was
Well,
amazing.
I think I think part of the reason that we get like that when we're under is that it allows us to see the message without being clouded by essentially what it is emotion. But
Yeah,
like, when you're completely involved in your life and nothing seems like it could ever be more important than
yeah,
whatever's happening in your life, and it's because you're completely consumed by it. Like you're
right,
so Michael Singer, I think it's in his Untethered Soul book. He describes like, we go watch a movie and we see this thing, and sometimes we get completely lost in the movie, right? We
right,
see it, we hear it, but we know that we're still sitting in the movie theater, usually cold, right?
right,
But he said, now imagine if you could see it, you could hear it, you were thinking the things that the person was thinking. You were in their body,
yeah,
and they had, so essentially what that does is complete control over you lose track of the fact that you're still sitting in the movie theater, is what he was kind of describing. And
wow,
um so I
okay,
thought that was an interesting description of kind of, it's hard to separate your thoughts and your feelings from whatever is in the experience. But
right,
once you separate from it, which I think is similar to awakening, once you
right,
separate from it, then even though you can have those feelings and those thoughts and the experience in totality, it
right,
isn't as consuming. It isn't as overwhelming, because you know that there is a different outlook. You know that it's like, it's not the end of the world. It's not like, this is not everything that the world is. There's more to it.
right. It's
Yeah.
just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Right. It's like what Dolores would say. It's like just the tip of the iceberg. You have no idea. But even when I listen to, I love him. He's really cool to listen to. Like I've listened to a few of his. I like,
Videos. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He has like a quick, like 15 minutes, or he'll pick a subject or whatever topic, and he'll do even like 10 minutes or whatever. And I like that because I can start my day. I choose some good talks,
Yeah.
you know, get that in my mind, understand. It's good to open your mind too before you start your day. Like fill yourself up with like a lot of good stuff. So that way, throughout your day, you're not like. I mean, you can fill yourself up through the whole day, of course. And some of us have that option, and some don't. So if you don't, then you can fill yourself up before you go to work or whatever your day is like. Because I mean, when I would work full time, there was no way I could listen to this amazing good stuff throughout the day. Because I worked at the bank, so you couldn't really fill yourself. You had to do it before what you would want to do it before, because by the time you're done working, most of us are like on to the next part of our lives. So that's
Hmm.
kids, someone else they have to take care of. Like my aunt, she has to take care of her sister who's handicapped. And so her kids are grown, but she's still dedicated to 24/7 taking care of my aunt. And I look at that because I'm like, wow, how some of us really have a full deck of cards. Like my aunt's not free to just meditate, like go, you know what I mean? And so when she quit her full-time job because she got super sick, I understand why she made herself sick, because she needed to have the rest of this part of my aunt's life to dedicate her life to care for her, because my aunt won't live until she's, my handicap aunt, she won't live until, like they don't live into their 80s and 90s. And, I feel like sometimes they don't have that ability to go that far in life. And I think it's super special because they're already up there in age. My aunt's 60 and her sister's 56, so it's like, that part of your life. You don't have, I mean, maybe for us, and maybe when you're in tune, you have the ability to go as far as you can in life, like age wise, but sometimes people just don't. They have too much worry, they have too much on their shoulders, where they only have another 20 more years or 15 more years or 10, or I don't know. I just look at life like that, and how it gave my aunt the opportunity to spend every day with, like, I don't look at it as a bad thing that she had to care for her sister. It's like, wow, it's the most amazing and precious thing that she really gets to bond and be super close with her. And every day she gets to spend morning until night. And
Yeah. Yeah.
love it. They love it. They're just like two little peas in a pod style. Like they can't be without each other.
Well, I
It
do
was,
think it's a blessing that
yeah,
for those particular situations, because
me
usually
too.
those people are, well, I don't know. I say that, and I'm in some groups online where people, in all honesty, it's an elderly support group.
Yeah.
And I mean an elderly care support group, and I joined it because when my mom was sick one of the times, this was when she had I don't know, some kind of oxygen deprivation. I think she had pneumonia. So we didn't know what was going on, but she wound up having pneumonia. So she pulled off like a 2-liter bottle full of, I think it was, I don't know how much it was. Maybe it was just 42 ounces. It was a lot of fluid off of one lung.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so she was having, the worst part about it is it like she changed who she was. Like, I mean, I knew she could be mean sometimes, but she was, there was a boundary. Like she
Right.
in general wasn't mean. And I had, not that I hadn't ever seen her be mean in my entire life, but this at this moment it was like the meanest of the mean ever came out. Like I was like, who is this person?
Right.
In the meanwhile, I'm trying to get her to go to the ER and blah blah blah. And so that's pretty stressful to have your loved one change who they are.
Yeah. And
You
that's
know, my
just
situation was, yeah, my
yeah.
situation was different, but I know people who their, excuse me, their spouse has um, a brain injury, or they have a wreck or something, and their
Yeah.
personality changes. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't happen really fast, sometimes they don't even notice that it's because of the wreck,
Right.
or because of the injury or what have you.
Right.
And there are people who struggle with the experience itself. I think we all struggle on some level with all of our experiences,
Right.
but it is, I kind of do look at it as a, whatever life is for you, it is kind of, it's the blessing, it's the
Like,
thing you chose to experience.
yeah. It's
Um,
teaching you something, regardless if it's that exactly, like, where it's so hard, and we don't have those kind of struggles or emotions on the other side. So that's could be the exact lesson you wanted to come and endure, is like, wow, what is that struggle really like? What is that feeling really like? You don't know unless you're in it, unless you're taking it in, and we all take it in separately. So like for me, if it wasn't my family member, I'm going to take it in super different than if it was like my family member. Like, I have to take care of
yeah,
you. So
yeah,
it really is amazing, like how we come down and how we endure the um, emotions, um, what we choose to have in our lives. But even then, when I was reading this book too, to just revitalize my, or just recap, also is that, you know, even though those are in our lives, it's like life is a maze. So sometimes we get in those moments and we feel lost, we feel stuck. That's why we have to then reach for the higher self, for the guidance team. And we have to know that we're not in it alone. It's like, hey, oh,
mhm,
right, I do have a guidance team. I do have a higher self. I can ask for help. It's like, give me some ease so that I can understand this better. Or, it's like, obviously you want your family in your life. So we don't want to eliminate that. We want to make it easier for yourself, for them. So we can have a more enjoyable life. I think that's really cool with Soul Speak and with quantum healing. It
yeah,
gives you that opportunity to, yeah, to look at life differently, to experience it differently, and to know it's a lesson. And there's a few people that, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a clearer message. I think. Yeah, I think it's forcing us to talk about those things.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get the messages one way or the other.
Right.
It's kind of like, let's say that, I mean, like I've known several people who are just really Christian, really devout Christians, and they pray, which is great, right? That's connected to the higher source, is praying.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do it so well that they're good at getting the messages.
Right.
And they have a really fulfilled life. They feel good. They are connected to source. They feel confident in what they're doing, and they're a perfect example of connecting to source. But sometimes also I've known people who, even though they do that, they feel a sense of disconnect. Whereas this technique, using the QHHT and the soul speak, is a way of kind of bringing it to almost like reminds me of like Sunday school, where you go in and you have your lesson and you talk about it and you say what it means. Essentially, almost everybody winds up saying what it means to them or how it applies, and then in the meanwhile, you're thinking about how it actually applies in your life right now. And it gives you a real sense of that. So it's very similar to something like that. It's just not based around, a different structure. It's more of an open-ended structure. I think they wind up getting the same message.
Right. Right.
Well, I have I'm going to have to head off here pretty soon, but I wanted to see how about if we do a QHHT session on me to deal with this arm thing, and we can video it.
Okay. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe next time I see you, we'll do that.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Nice to talk to you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Blair. You are awesome. So anyway, I just want to say thank you guys for listening today. Thank you for wanting to join in on our conversation. Next time, I would love to add you in. Just give me a quick little heads up about what you want to talk about. If you just want to add your story, I have added people in, and it kind of takes over the podcast, but as long as you come in with a good, solid question, I'd love to answer it. I'd love to talk to you guys. I feel so much love every time that I come on here. I'm so excited to connect to you guys. Thanks for the downloads. Amazing. You truly are amazing. I really appreciate it. So if you have any issues that you want to talk about, so if you have any body aches, pain, symptoms, any of that, reach out to me. I love to give you a soul speak session, so we can do that privately, one-on-one. Just connect to me. You can go to my website, Jennifer Martinez, QHHT. You can email me there. Goes right to my email. And then I can do a Zoom call with you or any kind of, one-on-one face talk. So that way I can hear what's kind of going on in your life and maybe give you some guidance of things that you can do to better release those pains or issues or symptoms, and also that way you're essentially living your best life. That's essentially the main goal of what I'm putting out. Not that you have to do what I say. This is all on you. It's what you say. It's how you live. It's your belief system. So really all I'm doing is help guiding you for you to live your best life. And then in that aspect, you can carry on and do what you need to do in life. And that's what it's all about. So essentially, thank you so much for coming on here, interacting with us. I'll try to do another session here soon and for a podcast. And so if you have a chance, check out Soul Speak, Language of the Body. It's incredible. Julia Cannon, she's miraculous. She received all this information from the higher self. So if you have that ability, that option, check the book out. Check out Dolores Cannon. That is who essentially came up with Soul Speak, or QHHT, I'm sorry, and her daughter is Julia Cannon. So I just want to put a few of those there. And that's it. Awesome. So remember to take care of yourself, treat yourself good, be kind to yourself, and, don't be so hard on yourself. You don't deserve it. And that will always be my message to you, is to be kind to your own self. And if you can start out with, I always say this, start out with one good thing. You don't need to add in a whole bunch of things at once. So, like I said earlier, it's like if you can start out with just loving yourself and caring about your own self, it's going to help a lot. It's going to start to help you unwind as well. And I think that would be great if that's the one thing you could do. And remember to laugh. It's so important. So find something that makes you laugh. And the whole reason why you're even here on the planet is to live your best life, no matter what anyone says. So if anyone's dragging you down and they're not letting you live your best life, figure out why, and maybe not take it in so hard, and go easy on yourself when it comes to that, and when you do figure it out and you're laughing and you're joyful, that's it. You're doing it. You're living your best life. So whatever that looks like for you, because we're all super different, and we're just different, unique in our own personality and way, but we're still all one. We're still human. We're still all connected to the other side. But you have angels. You have a guidance team. You have the higher self. So no matter what, you're not alone. You have them on the other side, and you just need to believe that. Once you do, literally the doors open and you'll see signs. So pay attention to the signs. It could be out in the open. It could be a store sign. It could be in your car. It could be on the phone, on the internet. There could be signs. So pay attention to that. Become aware of it. It's almost like have fun with it. Have fun with life. Do fun things that bring you joy. And fun, So anyway, I just want to say thank you for all the downloads. Thank you for coming to my page. I just feel so much love when everyone pops in and, says hi. That's great. And if you want to be in on the conversation ever, I would love for you guys to just tell me what you're going to say before say, hey, I wanted to talk about myself. I wanted to say these issues. Then I'll add you in. Otherwise, that's what I need. So otherwise, I won't until you type it in, the message on the board when I am live. And hopefully I can do it again soon. So lots of love. Thanks so much for coming to my page. So again, you can check me out at www.jennifermartinezqhht.com, and or you can go to Dolores Cannon's page and check her out. She's awesome. So thank you again. Lots of love. Have a great day and treat yourself kind.